What is good, guys, and welcome back to my Barcelona career mode. Today, we had the start of the transfer window. We can bring in some players to improve the squad. Obviously, we're only going to be playing for one season here. We're going to be finishing out the season and we're going to be done. So we're not going to be doing any pre-contracts. We're not doing any signings for the future. We're doing signings for now to get us to win the Champions League and to win our league. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go straight to my shortlist and we're going to check out the players that I have on the shortlist and basically who I'm looking at signing. I have two kind of realistic signings that Barcelona might be making in real life, including Matteo Darmian and Marquinhos from PSG. Both these players have been linked with Barcelona in real life, especially Marquinhos. So they're probably not at the top of my list because they're not the most talented, but they are realistically linked. So I'll try and go for them as well once they're done being scouted. But we also have players like Diego Godin, Mats Hummels, Marco Verrati, Marco Reus, Mario Götze, Felipe Coutinho, and Angel Di Maria. So a lot of talented players that I really want to bring in. And I think the only place to start is Diego Godin, mainly because he's unhappy at Atletico Madrid. And he says he's been poor, so we could be getting him for a very cheap price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go immediately offer his value of 32 million. Obviously, Atletico Madrid, I would never do the signing in real life, number one, but also in any other career mode, because usually they're toward the top of the table, but they're really struggling, and maybe a player of Godin's value, and if his skill level will want to come to a better team in the table, basically. And I think I also want to get... I'm a lot of these players, it's kind of funny, they won't even start, so I'm just going to focus on the defense with maybe a splash signing like a Reus or something who will come in and play. It says it's got to be a high offer, so we'll come in with 32 for him. The other player I want to go in for is Marco Verrati because he's very talented. He's not really linked with Barcelona in real life, but that's another position we could improve. I've not been too happy with the midfield. So we're going to come up with a $40 million bid and see if PSG will bite on that, especially if they'll give us a counter. I'd really appreciate a counter just to show what they want for him. So I guess we could also go in for Marco Reus because he can also play centrally, so we can introduce a cam into the team. And they say he's worth 60 to 71 million, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer his value. I usually go in and offer their values at first to see what teams think. So basically, I think we're going to be making two major signings, and we might even make a sale. We're going to go into the squad and see if there's anybody we want to sell, just to make some more money for the team. I'm going to keep these guys loaned out. They're not going to be playing. I did transfer list. That's one thing I did off camera, was I transfer listed Alves because he's actually leaving to Juventus in real life. So if we can get offer from Juventus, that would be really cool. But I would sell him to pretty much anybody. And the only other player I'm considering selling is Matsu, and I'm going to go ahead and add to the transfer list because we can bring in somebody else who's younger and better, like a Marquinhos, just as a backup option. Adriano's a good backup. So we're just going to transfer list Alves and Matteo, probably get Darmian and Marquinhos, plus, other players that we need to bring in just for the talent level. So we're going to simulate here. The next game we have is a domestic cup game against Villarreal. And so I'm going to go ahead and sim that one because it's not as important. I haven't actually checked the calendar. I think I should have checked the calendar before we started. We do have an offer for Alves for 17 million. We're going to counter to 25 million. They say he's homesick, so obviously going to Chelsea wouldn't help with that. But, Sergio Busquets is apparently worth 62 million. See, this is another interesting one because we could sell a guy like Busquets, who I've not enjoyed very much, but he's obviously one of the best in this position. We could bring in somebody else, but he's one of the best. So we're going to counter for 80 million, and obviously that's a really good deal if we can... I can bring somebody in for less than that, and it's still probably going to be very talented as well. So they countered 87 for Reus, 77 for Verrati, 59 for Hummels. That's a lot of money. Alves would like to leave the club. I'm already working on it, buddy. Don't even worry about it. We're going to let you leave on your own terms. 77.5 for Verrati. That's a lot. It's a lot for an 84 overall. So I'll come up to 55. I'm really not interested in paying above around 55, especially if we don't sell anybody else. But Mats Hummels for 59 million isn't a bad deal. So we're counter 45. I've seen 45 get accepted before, so hopefully that gets accepted for us as well. And 87 for Reus is obviously a lot, but he's probably one. And apparently Monaco are targeting Rakitic. I don't want to sell Rakitic, but if the offer is right, I'm just going to have to accept it. So we're going to go ahead and train these players here, see if anybody's grows. Okay, we have a few stats going up across the board, not an overall growth. Samper's almost a 73. I do like him. I've played with him in other career modes. Let's see, transfer from Mateu. Okay, to Manchester City are interested in our center back. I'll counter 16. And he's unhappy as well. So we'll counter 16. I think Man City have the money and the want to really accept that. I'm not asking for too much. So let's see if we can bring in Marquinhos with kind of a little bit more than that, obviously, but we can use that toward that deal. We got a 2-1 win against Villarreal. So that gets us into the semifinals, I think, of our domestic tournament, which is obviously good. They want 59 for Godin. They're not wanting a lot for these center backs. I thought they'd actually ask for a lot more because they're in the same league as us. We'll count it for 45 just like Hummels. I honestly don't know who I'd prefer. I'd probably prefer Godin, but because I haven't used him in a career mode before. They offered 55 million Monaco. That's above his value at the moment, pretty much. It's right in the middle of his estimated cost. So we'll counter 70. I don't even think Monaco have that much in the game, unless they sold a bunch of players. But 70, they'll probably counter for another offer. Probably, if... I'm not sure exactly if I want to accept that, depending on how these other deals go. And we got our reports on Darmian and Marquinhos, so we can go in for them now. They're going to go ahead with 25 for Dani Alves. Borussia Dortmund want him as well. You just got to pay the 25 as well. But it looks like Dani Alves is going to be going for a pretty good deal for a 32-year-old, in my opinion. They're going ahead with 80 million for Sergio Busquets. Oh my god. I can't be mad at that. They've accepted 55 for Verrati. They've accepted 45 for Mats Hummels. They really want Alves to go. Don't worry, he will be gone in the next few days. 240. I'll offer your... you're coming to play for Barcelona, you shouldn't really want too much of a contract increase, but I'll give you 3 years, 300,000 Hummels. I'll see if you want to come in for that. And they accepted 55 for Marco Verratti. I'll come up to 200k. I'm not going to specify your role because I'm not sure if you'd even... You definitely would start, especially since Busquets is most likely going to be leaving now. I still can't believe that. 80 million. And they accepted 60 for Marco Reus. Anybody else who does Camiro's 60 million for Reus is much more reasonable than 55 for Verratti. I'm just saying, in the first year, Reus probably doesn't get much better than the 86. Verratti does, which is probably why it's close, but that's still a little ridiculous. I'm not going to specify his role because I feel like I'd play him centrally. I don't know how good he's going to be centrally. Let's see, they really want to... These people really want Rakitic. Monaco still haven't said it, and people are... They're interested in PK as well. Everybody wants our players. They accepted 45 for Godin. They only want to pay 15. They don't believe he's worth that much. PK, what are they interested in paying for PK? Well, actually, let's go ahead and just accept this Manchester City offer first. 15 million. It's above his value. Go ahead and take him, Man City. We're going to get an older center back off our hands, and we'll go in and negotiate for the other two players that we want. 40.5 million. He's not going anywhere. PK is one of the better players. He hasn't been so great in real life for them this past year, but I still like him in the game, so I'm going to play with him. That sounded a little weird, doesn't it? Yeah, but we're going to go ahead and play with him in our starting lineup. I said it again, but whatever. 2 years, 250,000 a week for Diego Godin. See if he'll come in for that. And let's go in and see what the other players will cost, especially Marquinhos and Darmian. He recently arrived. 22 to 26 million. That's not bad, you know. If we can get him for about the same we paid for Alves, I'll be happy. 17 million. Actually, he really shouldn't cost as much as Alves, so... And Marquinhos, he's an 81 overall. Hopefully we can get him for... It looks like it could happen. So 20 million. It looks like he's leaving in real life, and it looks like he'll be leaving in the game. I'll pay 25, up to 25 for Marquinhos. He's really good. Gertze, Coutinho, and Angel Di Maria, we are going to leave. If toward the end of the transfer window, I think I need somebody like that, we can go in. But for now, we're just going to go with the players we are already negotiating for. So let's see here. Players sold. Dani Alves has gone to Chelsea for 25. That's exactly what we needed. And Sergio Busquets has gone to FC Bayern for 80 million. 80 million. That is crazy. That is honestly crazy. Look at that. 80 million. And 25 for Alves. So we are actually in the $200 million budget. I've never had a budget this big. And we're going to be bringing in some players to supplement. Especially since now we have Roberto, who is not good enough for winning the Champions League, in my opinion, in CM. So let's sim this game again. Actually, let's look at the calendar. Let's see what kind of games we're going to be playing today. Okay, we have a lot of games this episode. Granada's going to be simmed. Villarreal's going to be simmed. Let's see. Atletico Madrid is definitely going to be played toward the end of the episode. And so is Athletic Bilbao. So there's going to be a couple sims where we're going to be playing Bilbao, probably Malaga, and Atletico Madrid. So we'll probably have 3 games this episode. We're going to sim this game against Granada, however. But first, we do have some emails I forgot about. We have a transfer offer for Rakitic from Valencia. I'm just going to go ahead and reject that because they're directly competing with us for first place. Don't want him to be helping them out. They countered for Verrati. He wants just 230. I'll give you the 230. We win a 4-1. Messi, Suarez, and Mateo scores. Mateo will probably be gone by the end of this game. In fact, this might be him in the email now. No, not exactly. But we do have some interesting emails here. They countered for Rakitic, 59.5 million. If I really wasn't using Rakitic, I would probably accept that. But since we already sold Busquets, I mean, just if I accept it, I'd be able to... That's just too much. That's just too much. I don't really need to sell Rakitic. So I'll counter again for 65. I just have a feeling they're going to accept that. I don't know what it is. I feel like they'll accept 65 million. So I'm going to go ahead and just reject the offer. We're not going to just sell everybody in the team. We're going to keep Rakitic. Busquets was a shock transfer, and we can leave it at that. Hummel's accepted his contract. I'm not quite sure I want to bring him in over Godin, so we'll wait for Godin's answer. Royce counteroffered. He wants the 300,000. He's fine without knowing his role, which is good. Obviously, he'll get less upset if we don't play him as much. So we're going to wait for Hummels, and we're going to do the training. I'm probably going to switch up the players once we get the new ones, some new ones in. But for now, Samper and Lopez both go up in overall, which is good. Let's advance again to the round of 16 of this other tournament against Villarreal again. Oh, Arsenal. Where is his team? Okay, Arsenal. But Jeremy Witsu has gone to Man City. They accepted 57.5 million. I wouldn't want to pay that. 55 was pretty much the max I was going to do. They accepted... Not accepted. They declined the 17 million offer for Darmian. I'm not surprised. So we'll put in 20. That's reaching the low end of his value, or his expected, I guess, transfer fee. I'm still waiting on Hummels. I really hope Godin will come in before that bid expires so I can choose between the two. Okay, Marco Verrati accepted his contract. I gotta make a decision on that, I guess, too, huh? I'm going to go ahead and sim this game against Villarreal before I decide on Verrati. It will probably be a good piece of business, but we'll see how much it'll actually take out of the budget. And we get a 2-0 win against Villarreal, Suarez, and Mascherano getting the goals. So let's see here. Marco Reus and Diego Godin both accepted their contracts. We got 200,000 from that. Get rid of all these extra emails. And let's look at... Okay, so we have to decide between Diego Godin and Mats Hummels. That is going to be our first big transfer. Both 45 million. Diego Godin costs less but is older. We could take... We're giving money to Atletico Madrid. We're giving them money, but we're also taking away their talent. That's a tough one. The wage really doesn't matter to me. So I'm just going to ignore the fact that Mats Hummels costs more on the wage, because that doesn't matter to me as much. I kind of want to do Godin. You know what? We're going to do Godin. Our big transfer. Diego Godin is coming in to FC Barcelona. So Mats Hummels, you can kindly fuck off. And now we have to decide if we want to bring Royce and Verrati in. I could bring both of them in, technically. But do I want to? I'm not quite sure. I really kind of want to... I want to adjust the lineup. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to adjust the lineup to fit Diego Godin in there instead of Mascherano. So now we have Diego Godin and Gerard Piqué. Very solid back line. So we have Roberto. Verrati would be very useful there, but Royce would also be useful there. Because I could play kind of this formation, but with a cam instead of a CDM. If I can find it. Yeah, I can play this formation and just play Royce centrally. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to bring in Royce instead of Verrati. Even though that goes against what Barcelona kind of do, passing-wise. They do tend to pass the ball around the back a lot. They got a transfer for Jordi Alba from Juventus. They want him instead of David Alba's, which is David Albez. Yeah, David Alaba. He can go for almost 50 million. Jeez, every player in this team is worth so much. We're just going to go ahead and reject it, though. Because the Juventus are going to be competing with us in the Champions League, and I don't want to have to give them any more talent. But yeah, so that's our center back taken care of. I'm probably going to sign a midfielder like the Reus or Verrati, and then Marquinhos and Darmian, hopefully. So I got to decide Reus or Verrati. I haven't played with either of them in this FIFA. I've played with Reus in past FIFAs. Verrati, he's either going to us or Arsenal. And Arsenal are in the Champions League. Nobody's gone in for Reus. If I accept that, I have 125, and if let's say I have 125, it gives us with... Okay, that's weird. I don't know. I'm going to give it another day. I'm going to give it another day before I decide. Let's see if anybody else gets accepted or not. Or maybe we'll even send him to this Athletic Bilbao game. Oh my goodness, they really are not even... They're not even countering for Darmian, which is weird. Okay, I'll just go for the 23, but it's right at the low end of his value. It's 23 million. And it looks like his form isn't the greatest, so they'll possibly accept that. I really hope they will, because that's a lot of money. It's almost what I paid for Alves. I wish it would say when the deal expires. But we'll play the Athletic Bilbao game. We'll play this. So let's get right into it. We have a game in hand on Real Madrid. That'll bring us to 42 points if we get a win. So that's 4 points behind Real Madrid. We really need a win here. And it's against a team like Athletic Bilbao. I'm not looking forward to a loss here. We need to get a win. And I'm going to not play Roberto. I'm going to play Rafinha instead. Yeah, I'm going to play Rafinha. I'm excited for this. Hopefully, like I said, we can get a win. We desperately need it to be even in contention with Real Madrid. They're starting to run away with the league a bit. But hopefully with signings that we're about to make, we can definitely push forward. Oh my god, Godin is a bit slow, but he's really good on the ball. So, I don't know what I was doing there. I just kind of ran past. And we have a wide open guy. The winger Gomez. Piqué somehow catches up to him. But he doesn't actually get possession of the ball. Back into the middle. Terrible shot for Athletic Bilbao. I'm probably going to be going into halftime here. 2-2. I just said 2-2. When not one of us has scored. And then I just get distracted. Piqué with a great little bit. Bravo! Hitting into the post. That was very dangerous. After a mistake by me. And after I said this score was 2-2. But we're going into halftime. After 2 minutes of extra time, 0-0. Maybe we can do better in this half. We haven't played very good. Rafinha gets a goal. The one player who's done anything today is getting us a goal. Glad I definitely put him in. We would have been really just out of luck if we didn't bring him in. I'm just kind of running around here, not really doing much on defense. Oh, terrible little bit of play there. And we're almost to the 80th minute here. This game has gone by very slowly and has not been very entertaining, even though the 2-0 scoreline suggests that it's been entertaining. Iniesta goes the wrong way. Adriano goes the right way. Gets it into Iniesta. Kicking it out to Neymar, and we'll see what he can do on the ball. Not much. He's getting out-muscled, basically. But he's now in the open. He's gotten past the players with the speed. Get it into Iniesta, and Iniesta gets a terrible terrible kick on the ball, but it does get deflected. And now Bilbao on the counter-attack. Their winger in the wide open, and it was not offside. He misses, he hits the top of the crossbar, and that just shows how unlucky they've been. They really should be winning this game, based on the amount of chances they've had. Messi has been absolutely non-existent in this game, but now he's got a chance here on the ball. As I say that, and he gets it in the back of the net. That's just what Messi does. 3-0, almost the 90th minute. Basically, that wraps up the game. A pretty good performance for us today, if you think about it. In the second half, he's got 15 goals in the league. The first half was absolutely god-awful. We've scored all 3 of our goals in the second half after the 60th minute. And that ends the game, a 3-0 win for our Barcelona. Pretty good result after the 60th minute. Before the 60th minute, we were god-awful. But now we can work more on some transfers. Maybe bring some other players in, including Marquinhos, Darmian, Verrati, Reus, players like that. Suspension over, press conference. Not the emails I'm looking for. We have a training session here. I'm going to go into the transfer negotiations now, and I'm going to see if the bids actually expire anytime soon, because I want to see how the Marquinhos and Darmian bids go before I still can't decide on Reus or... And I guess if it expires, I can always ask you guys what you guys would prefer. Transfer offer accepted, 28 million and 23 million were accepted for those players. I'll give you 120. You don't really. Okay, so that's gonna be another 23, 25. It's gonna be about what, 51 million between the two. 100. I'll bring it up to 130 just because I don't want to have to mess with it. Let's see if those players will accept. I am gonna see. You know what? I'm gonna leave this up to you guys. I'm gonna let the bid expire, and before the transfer window closes, I'll make another bid for the players, and I'm gonna let you guys decide. I'm gonna let you guys decide who I sign, either Marco Reus or Marco Verrati. We're gonna sim this game in the against Real Madrid because I don't really care about the cup, and they get a 2-0 win over us. Their form has been really good. I wasn't surprised by that. Another transfer offer for Rakitic. And the Verrati deal did expire. So like I said, I'm just going to let it expire. We're just going to delete that email for now. And we'll go back in next episode for those two players. So I have to end it before the transfer window. So I'll probably end it at this Malaga game. Marquinhos accepted his contract. That's another signing. We're bringing in Marquinhos to replace Mathieu, basically. And to also add a little bit to the team. Counter offer received. He just wants his 170. That's fine, I guess. And I guess once his offer gets accepted, that will be the end of the episode. Nolito has demanded a transfer. That's interesting. And we're going to end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button. And I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm going to record some other videos actually right after this. Not for this series, but for another few series. And basically, let me know when you guys want any other videos. If you guys want to see this sometime soon, or you just want to keep going on the pace we are. I'm really trying to be more consistent. I'm gonna make a video about it actually. Right after this, and you guys will understand where I'm going, coming from there. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.